So now we took a look at digital literacy, right? You understand what that is, probably something that's very intuitive to you, including this list of skills that this video went through fairly quickly, and we have a sense of what those mean: judgment, negotiation, all the way down to collective intelligence, visualization, multitasking. There's a lot of things that we can do digitally or in a digital environment, but the fact that I complimented you and said that you as digital natives are digitally literate, that does not necessarily mean that you are also someone who has political internet literacy. These do not necessarily transfer over. And we should dive into why that's the case. First of all, we should define political internet literacy as the ability to effectively and efficiently use the internet to gather, evaluate, share, and create political information. So what is the big difference between political internet literacy and digital literacy? Well, we should start at the beginning. We should start with you. Young Americans, digital natives, are generally considered to be hyper-connected. They are digitally literate, but, and this is a big but, it does not necessarily mean that they have political internet literacy. So what do we mean when we say that you are, or that young Americans are hyper-connected? Well, let's give some numbers here. 96% of Americans aged 18 to 29 are internet users. 84% use social networking sites, and 97% have cell phones. 97%. Many of those cell phones are becoming smartphones, and many of those users are using their smartphones, sometimes exclusively, to use the internet. Younger Americans aged 12 to 17 who are going to be college students in the next five years or so have similar rates of internet use and just slightly lower levels of social networking and cell phone use. That's probably going to increase as they go to college, as they move away from home, as they become young adults. All of this all of this can be put together with the fact that while television remains the main source of political information for most Americans, the internet is gaining relative to all others, especially younger Americans. In fact, for people your age, 18 to 29, you are more likely to use the internet to follow politics than any other source. So you are online, you are using these tools, and you're more likely to use it for political purposes. But just because we use it doesn't necessarily mean that we know how to use it well. It doesn't mean that we can use it effectively and efficiently. And what has been found through some studies is that the more time people spend online, the more strongly they believe that it was easy to find useful political information online. I'll repeat that. The more time people spend online, the more strongly they believe that it's easy to find useful political information on the internet. However, there's no correlation between the amount of time spent online and the belief that the internet has more useful information than misinformation. So the more time you spend online, the more able you are to use the internet to find good information, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you think that the internet is inherently true or inherently full of good information. You have to navigate and filter through a lot of noise, a lot of misinformation in order to find what is true. So the key element in developing political internet literacy is simply time spent online for political purposes. Something that can easily be achieved by using the internet for political purposes by bringing it into courses like this, but it's not necessarily something that digital natives are naturally going to do. What's important here is that political internet literacy is helpful, right? It's helpful beyond simply being digitally literate because it can help you do a number of things that active citizens are expected to do and would like to do, especially as we move forward into an increasingly interactive arena where we are going to have much more give and take between the general population and the elected leaders. So what are some questions that political internet literacy can help us answer? Well, first of all, what is the truth? Right? This can be used to help us filter information, to help us understand what are good sources of information, and ultimately try to find what's actually going on. Right? We often have misinformation fired at us all the time. So political internet literacy will help us do this effectively and efficiently. What are they hiding? The watchdog role of the media is often trying to scrutinize and trying to investigate what politicians, what political organizations, what political elites are doing, and potentially what they are covering up or what they're doing behind closed doors. Political internet literacy can help open some of those doors, can help create a more transparent political process for those people who can use these digital tools effectively. Third, how can I use social media to help me understand more about politics and share my ideas more effectively? Essentially, there is this giant new megaphone, right, that we all have. We are probably pretty good at using it to text message, to connect with our friends, to do whatever we all do today. But how to actually use social media for political purposes is a much more nuanced approach. It's something that needs more strategy. And ultimately, it's connected to the fourth and final question here. How can we use web-based tools to effectively help us support political causes that we endorse? So how can I be a more effective, active citizen? Not generally, but in those specific areas that I feel strongly about. It might be that I would like to support issues that are generally out of the public view, or potentially I'm a member of a community that is underrepresented when it comes to national politics, for instance, college students. Right? How can web-based tools be used by college students to help push forward political issues, political causes that they feel strongly about? I don't know, the rising cost of tuition. Right? It's not something that's being talked about very much, but our digitally literate students, once they gain political internet literacy, may be able to leverage these new tools to push their ideas and to increase their political voice.